In this screencast presentation, I'm going to be showing you how to draw a simple cross-section diagram using PowerPoint as an editing tool. You've most likely been using PowerPoint for presentation slides, which is its primary function, but it's actually quite good for creating simple diagrammatic graphics as well. So we're going to start by just navigating the toolbar up here. You click on the insert at the top of the page, you'll see there's lots of different options for adding shapes, icons, smart art. So we're going to start off here, drawing a line along the bottom of the sheet. If you want to make that line bolder, you can right click on the line, select style. We'll go for a slightly heavier black line. And now we're going to start adding building elements to this cross section. So for this I'm going to use a rectangle shape. Which you can manipulate to make it any shape that you like. You can change the fill. I'm going to go for no fill. Leave the outline as it is. So then rather than just keep selecting, you can copy and paste this. Make sure you select destination theme rather than picture, because that means you can still keep on manipulating it and changing the colours and dimensions. A lot easier. We'll make this building slightly bigger and a little bit wider. Remembering that for a cross section, it isn't important for this particular assignment to be completely accurate in terms of scale. I'm just trying to give a general impression. So I'm going to carry on describing some of the features of this carriageway here, because this is something I'm particularly interested in showing here. If you've watched the accompanying drawing a cross section by hand, I'm just going to mirror the same picture here. So I'm going to use the rectangle shape again, but I'm going to make it into much smaller, thinner, and use it to denote different elements of the highway. So here I want to start colouring things in. I go for blue. Use this as my footpath. And don't forget, an important element of this is also to create a key. So you don't need to necessarily label everything. You can include a key up here that just will add detail to you later. I'm going to repeat this process. And so I'm going to change the colour because I want this to be a cycle lane. I'm changing that to orange. And I just copied that shape over to the other side of the street as well, so it's mirrored. And now again, changing the colour again because the road surface is changing. I think we'll have purple this time. Of course, you can use shortcut keys if you prefer shortcut keys. All of this. Add these to the key. So now you can see that I've used a number of coloured blocks to delineate different elements of the road, and I can now either use the key to label those by adding a text box, So you can see here that I've now identified what all these different colour elements represent. So because I've identified green as green infrastructure, that means that if I want to add any other elements of green infrastructure to this diagram, I can just use the colour block instead. So if I want to add some green roofs to here, I can just use the same colour and identify that what we're looking at here is green infrastructure. The alternative is that you can annotate, again using things like the call out boxes here. So you can label using these call-out boxes, and take a little bit of manipulating and fitting to scale. They can be useful for adding a more detailed description of an element of the cross section, but using a key is a really good way of kind of reducing the amount of text that you need to have on the sheet at any one time. There's lots of ways that you can add detail to the cross-section diagram. I've just shown you how you can use the insert shapes, and you can just sort of draw either freehand or using polygons and blocks and lines that way. PowerPoint also has a good stock of icons. As you can see, you can select from a large menu here. So I think I'm going to choose nature and include some trees on my diagram. I think we'll have some green infrastructure between the cycle route and the roadway. So add some trees that way. It's worth navigating the icon store. As you can see, there's so many different things that you might find useful. So we have some accessibility symbols, we've got insects and building shapes. So you don't even have to draw those buildings, you could just use some of these and manipulate the sizes of them. So if you wanted to show there was a factory element, you could just use one of these. If you had gone to Amsterdam, I'd be using some windmills, I'm sure. But have a look through these and make use of them to add some details to your cross sections or any other diagrams that you are thinking of using. So you've got people here, so you can kind of add people to show kind of the human scale and that kind of thing. Once you've created your diagram, and you can see I've added a bit more detail here, then this is obviously saved as a PowerPoint slide. But if you want to have this in a as an image file so that you can insert it into a sheet with more detail on it as an image, then you can use the snipping tool, and there's a separate video showing you how to access this. And you can save this then as an image file, and it will save as a JPEG, which you can then use to insert into a sheet as a smaller image later on in the process. And I'll show you how to do that in a separate video. I hope that's been useful. Thank you.